Heavy is the head that wears the crown means more than you think when it comes to King James. From racist vandalism to a health scare concerning his eldest son, you might be surprised to find out how many tragic events he's had to suffer through.
It's challenging. It's challenging.
LeBron James was born in Akron, Ohio just after Christmas in 1984 to 16-year-old mother Gloria James and her occasional boyfriend Anthony McClellan. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the future NBA great didn't have the most stable of childhoods. Following the death of her mother and grandmother in quick succession, the teenage Gloria suddenly found herself looking after her two younger brothers and her own baby boy alone. According to The Guardian, she once remarked, "I wouldn't wish some of the stuff we went through on anyone, not on my worst enemy." In one particular year, the Jameses relocated half a dozen times. In another, LeBron only turned up to school 62 of the 162 days required. Gloria eventually found herself in trouble with the law too, racking up arrests for everything from trespassing and disorderly conduct to contempt of court, and she ended up spending a week in prison. LeBron told The Guardian of his adolescent years, "I saw drugs, guns, killings, it was crazy." With his mother Gloria struggling to look after both her son and two younger brothers, LeBron was sent off to live with a different family until she could get her life back on track. The future NBA star was only 9 at the time, and so he understandably took the absence of his beloved mom hard. In his book, LeBron's Dream Team, the Los Angeles Laker recalled this particular period of his life. "I became afraid that one day I would wake up and she would be gone forever. It's really all I cared about when I was growing up, waking up and knowing that my mom was still alive and still by my side. I already didn't have a father, and I didn't want to be without both parents." While his father, Anthony McClellan, abandoned him, he did have a father figure in the form of Frank Walker. It was the youth football coach and his family who agreed to take a young LeBron on, and he was also the man who essentially set the youngster on the path to glory. Indeed, Walker was responsible for introducing the newest member of his household to the world of basketball. LeBron's mother had several run-ins with the law while the power forward was growing up. Even when her son was an NBA megastar, she still couldn't keep herself out of trouble, and alcohol was usually at the root of her misdemeanors. In 2006, Gloria was arrested and charged with several offenses, including driving while intoxicated, kicking a police car window out, and speeding 20 miles over the limit. 5 years later, she was charged with simple battery and disorderly intoxication after assaulting a parking attendant at a Miami Beach hotel. The altercation happened when Gloria, who reportedly had bloodshot eyes and smelled of alcohol at the time, grew fed up with how long it was taking for her car to be returned. When asked by the press about the latter incident, LeBron seemed understandably reticent. First describing it as a sensitive subject, the sportsman explained, "It's my life, and there are certain things you need to deal with. You try not to let it be a distraction. I have a job to do still." In 2009, LeBron James revealed that he'd suffered a cancer scare that briefly left him racked with anxiety. Speaking to the Plain Dealer newspaper, the NBA icon recalled how doctors at the Cleveland Clinic discovered a growth in his jaw's right side, which they subsequently biopsied. He recounted, "It was a nerve-wracking experience, but I knew at that point I had to get it done. I was on edge for those few days. I was lucky the season was going on and we were playing really well, so I could concentrate on basketball. My family was nervous." Thankfully, tests proved that the growth, which was found in the saliva-producing parotid gland, wasn't cancerous. Shortly after the Cavaliers season wrapped up, James underwent surgery for its removal. He went on to reveal that in the week of his recovery, he enjoyed some of the best sleep of his lifetime. LeBron's checkered family history appeared to take another twist in 2011 when a man claiming to be his biological father filed a lawsuit against the NBA star. Lester Bryce Stovell alleged that the sportsman had been the product of a one-night stand with mother Gloria James, although the fact that he was 29 at the time and she was 15 meant this would have been statutory rape. James has often called out the man said to be his real dad, Anthony McClellan, for abandoning him as a child. But Stovell argued that these criticisms actually applied to him and sued the power forward for defamation to the tune of $4 million. Princeton graduate Stovell also accused LeBron of fraud following a paternity test that came back negative. The claimant alleged that the star tampered with the results alongside his mom, although he couldn't produce any actual evidence to back this up. It's little surprise, therefore, that the U.S. District Court judge dismissed the case. In 2017, LeBron became the victim of a racist attack when his home in Los Angeles was vandalized with a slur. The LAPD were called to investigate after an undisclosed term was graffitied onto the gate of the NBA star's Brentwood property.
And I'm shocked. It's terrible that something like that happened in this neighborhood. It's, a really nice neighborhood with a lot of lovely people.
LeBron addressed the incident shortly before his Cleveland Cavaliers team competed in the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors. In a statement, he said, "Sitting here on the eve of one of the greatest sporting events that we have in sports, race and what's going on comes again, and on my behalf and my family's behalf. But I mean, I look at it as if this is to shed a light and continue to keep the conversation going on my behalf. Then I'm okay with it." He went on to say, "No matter how much money you have, no matter how famous you are, no matter how many people admire you, being black in America is tough. And we've got a long way to go for us as a society and for us as African Americans until we feel equal in America. But my family is safe, and that's what's important." LeBron didn't exactly endear himself to his Hong Kong fans in 2019 when he spoke out against the country's pro-democracy movement. The NBA star got into hot water when he called out then Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey for a since-deleted supportive message on Twitter.
I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke.
Referring to Morey's viewpoint, James told SB Nation, "Yes, we do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications for the negative that can happen when you're not thinking about others, when you only think about yourself." Speaking in support of the protesters negatively affected the NBA's relationship with China, which led Morey to delete the tweet. James later argued that Morey's statement was potentially harmful, not only in a financial sense, but an emotional and spiritual one too. Unsurprisingly, James faced backlash for his stance and for saying that free speech can cause a lot of negative. Protesters in Hong Kong burned jerseys emblazoned with his name, and Bill Maher, a man who has caused quite a bit of controversy himself, also criticized LeBron for choosing to call out dissidents rather than the human rights abuses of the Chinese government. In 2018, LeBron James founded the I Promise School in his Ohio hometown in conjunction with his eponymous foundation and Akron Public Schools. Tragically, 4 years later, it became the scene of a deadly crime. 17-year-old Ethan Liming was beaten to death after he got into a fight with a group of men playing basketball on the grounds nearby courts. The teen and two friends had been squirting their water guns at people indiscriminately while driving around the city when they took aim at the sportsmen. In an attempt to pacify the enraged individuals, Liming got out of the car to make it clear he didn't mean any malice, but he was subsequently attacked by two, suffering a blunt force trauma that proved to be fatal. James took to Twitter to express his sorrow at the news, writing, "Our condolences goes out to the family who lost a loved one. May the heavens above watch over you during this tragedy. Pray for our community." His foundation also tweeted their devastation, adding, "We are grieving with our community over another senseless act of violence. Our I Promise School campus is safe and secure as we continue to do everything we can to support our students, families, and the entire Akron community." The basketball world was left reeling in 2020 when Kobe Bryant, along with his daughter Gianna, a pilot, and 6 other passengers, died in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California.
I just don't have a lot to say. The news is just devastating to everybody who knew him.
LeBron, who spoke to his fellow NBA superstar the night before the tragedy, found the news particularly tough to deal with. He told USA Today's Mark Medina at a practice session 6 months later, "There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think about him." Although the pair had never played together in the NBA, they did build up a strong friendship following James's move to Bryant's former team, the Los Angeles Lakers, in 2018. James told Yahoo Sports, "I do remember when I decided to come here. He sent me a text right away and said, 'Welcome, brother, welcome to the family.' That was a special moment because at the time, Laker faithful wasn't fully in on me. A lot of people were saying, well, we might not want LeBron at this point in his career. And is he right? Is he going to get us back to the finals?" So to hear from him and get his stamp of approval, it meant a lot. LeBron experienced every father's worst nightmare in 2023 when the oldest of his 3 children suffered a cardiac arrest at the age of just 18. Bronny James was practicing with the University of Southern California's basketball team when he suddenly collapsed on the court and was subsequently rushed to the hospital. A spokesperson for the James family later released a statement revealing that Bronny was no longer in the intensive care unit and was now in a stable condition. They added in the statement, "LeBron and Savannah wish to publicly send extend their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes. Bronny looked all set to follow in his father's footsteps following his graduation from Los Angeles' Sierra Canyon High School earlier in the year. The combo guard had attracted the attention of USC after impressing at the McDonald's All-American game, while LeBron had expressed his ambition to still be playing professionally long enough to compete in the NBA alongside his son.